There's a scene in Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader and Darth Sidious, aka Emperor Palpatine, try to convince Luke to join the dark side. After several minutes of unpleasantries, aggressive cajoling, and finally a serious breakdown in negotiations in which Luke chops off his dad's hand, Palpatine, in a last-ditch effort to get his point across, uses lightning to gently persuade Luke that the dark side is way cooler. Imagine what you could do with that ability. Outside of electrocuting people, including yourself, you could charge your phone, earbuds, or maybe even your car without having to plug anything in. Pretty amazing, right? Of course, it's not just science fiction. Wireless charging has become one of those quiet background conveniences that crept into our daily lives without much fanfare. It's built into phones, earbuds, toothbrushes, and even cars. But most of us don't really give it much thought beyond the green light. Still, there's something almost counterintuitive about it. We're so used to plugging things in that the idea of charging without contact feels like it's bending a rule. Electricity, after all, needs a path, right? So how does it jump that tiny gap between your phone and the pad beneath it? That's what we're unpacking today. What wireless charging actually is, how it works, and why the same principle, hiding in your nightstand charging pad, is also what heats your pan when you cook dinner. So let's dig in. I'm Chris Roman, and I'm nerd adjacent. Wireless charging, technically called inductive charging, uses electromagnetic fields to move energy from one place to another, specifically from a charging pad to your device. The key word here is inductive. It refers to electromagnetic induction, a phenomenon where a changing magnetic field can generate electric current in a nearby conductor. In plain English, if you run electricity through one coil of wire, you can cause a magnetic ripple that creates electricity in another coil, as long as it's close enough. That's the essence of wireless charging. Two coils, one in the pad, one in your device, passing energy back and forth through an invisible magnetic field. It's wireless in the sense that there's no metal-on-metal contact, but technically, the system still needs to be very close, usually within just a few millimeters. Not quite the distances achieved by an evil Sith Lord, but you gotta start somewhere. Inside your charging pad is a flat coil of copper wire. When electricity flows through that coil, it oscillates rapidly, turning the coil into a tiny electromagnet that constantly switches polarity. That rapid switching creates an alternating magnetic field above the pad. Now, inside your phone is another coil, tuned to the same frequency. When that field hits the coil in your phone, it induces a current, essentially catching the magnetic energy and turning it back into electricity. That electricity then flows into the phone's battery circuit to recharge it. All of this happens through a carefully coordinated dance of timing, frequency, and alignment. The coils need to be close, lined up just right, and communicating with each other. That's why you sometimes have to reposition your phone to get it charging. An induction stove works in the same way. An induction stovetop has a large coil under its glass surface. When you turn on a burner, electric current runs through the coil, generating a magnetic field, just like your charging pad. But instead of transferring a gentle trickle of power to a phone battery, that magnetic field interacts directly with your metal cookware. The pan itself becomes the receiver coil, and the induced current heats the pan from within. There's no open flame, no glowing element, just magnetic energy turning into heat right inside your cookware. So, while your phone and your frying pan don't seem to have much in common, they're both quietly demonstrating the same principle every time they do their thing. Of course, the main difference is scale. A wireless phone charger transfers maybe 15 watts of power. An induction cooktop, 2,000 to 3,000 watts. So while they both rely on electromagnetic induction, one charges your battery while the other sears your steak. And it's all based on a discovery made back in the 1830s by English chemist and physicist Michael Faraday. He found that when you move a magnet near a coil of wire, it induces an electrical current in that wire. That simple observation laid the foundation for everything from electric motors and transformers to, your phone charger. Then, in the 1890s, Nikola Tesla demonstrated his famous Tesla coil, a resonant transformer that could wirelessly light lamps from across the room. He even imagined entire cities powered by electricity, radiating through the air. It was bold, visionary, and wildly impractical at the time. The physics worked, but the efficiency didn't. Too much energy was lost to the air, and the systems were far too large to be useful. For decades, wireless power stayed mostly in the realm of science experiments and science fiction. The first real consumer product to use it was something a lot less glamorous: the electric toothbrush. In the 1990s, manufacturers realized inductive charging was perfect for bathroom use. It could safely transfer power through plastic, keeping everything waterproof and shockproof. By the mid-2000s, engineers began shrinking those systems and standardizing how they worked, leading to the formation of the Wireless Power Consortium and the creation of the Qi standard. That's QI, pronounced Qi, because of course it is. Qi defines how devices and chargers talk to each other. By this, I mean how they detect alignment, regulate current, and shut off safely when charging is done. Samsung was one of the early adopters, adding Qi charging to the Galaxy S6 in 2015. Apple integrated it into the iPhone 8 in 2017, and that's when it really went mainstream. Suddenly, cafes, airports, and cars started installing wireless chargers right into their surfaces. Today, wireless charging can be seen everywhere. Most new phones support it, along with earbuds, smartwatches, and even some laptops. Furniture makers sell desks and lamps with chargers built right in. No separate pad needed. Cars have joined in too, with charging pads built into the center console. Just drop your phone in and let it sip power while you drive. There are also larger-scale versions in development. Some companies are experimenting with wireless EV charging, using large coils embedded in garage floors or parking lots. You drive over the pad, and the car charges automatically. No cable required. And there's the more futuristic frontier: true wireless power transfer. This is where things get interesting. Instead of having two coils almost touching, researchers are exploring ways to send power over short distances using resonant magnetic coupling, where both coils vibrate at the same natural frequency, allowing energy to jump farther and more efficiently. Companies have been testing systems that can charge small devices a few feet away. Some even use radio waves or lasers to transmit energy through the air. The Empire has been using it for years to blow up planets. Super effective, as it turns out, though there are some flaws to still work out. And while safety, efficiency, and cost are still challenges in this galaxy, true wireless charging hints at a future where your devices could quietly charge just by being in the room. Imagine never having to think about battery percentage again. Wireless charging isn't some kind of modern alchemy. It's a clever bit of 19th century physics turned into 21st century convenience. It doesn't defy the rules of electricity, it just hides them elegantly. Instead of plugging in, we align magnetic fields. Instead of exposed connectors, we rely on invisible forces. It's one of those technologies that feels small on the surface, charging your phone without a cord, but it points toward something bigger, a world where we stay powered without ever plugging in. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who's curious about technology or is having trouble sleeping. Leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you've got questions or show ideas, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, thanks for listening. I'm Chris Roman, and I'm nerd adjacent.